What's up, guys? It's Crash, and we have to talk some more about Delta Force Hawk Ops. We got a bunch of information with the game's lead developer, Shadow, talking to Pestily and Goj about some community answered questions. So there's a lot of really good details in there that I want to talk about. And overall, I've just been having a ton of fun in the game. They just added a new map and a new operator and some new other things to the game, to the alpha. Alpha seems weird. This game is really polished, and some of the reasons I've been having fun are the details and the quality of life. Being able to carry down players to safety to revive, being able to carry enemy players loot items to a safer place to loot has been super cool. The gunsmith, the gun range, the firing range is the best that we've seen in a video game to date. You know, when you're customizing weapons, you can see every single stat. You can see a visual representation of recoil from the standard one. Then when you start adding attachments, it updates the recoil pattern to show you the changes that will happen to the recoil, as well as individual limb damage through armor, damage drop off with different ammo, and like everything is there. It's incredibly granular and it leaves nothing to wonder. You can play the game without having a second wiki open, and I've just been having a lot of fun. So I thought this Ask Shadow Anything, Shadow is the name of the lead developer, was a little tough to follow because of the translation and kind of how the questions were broken up. So I found some summaries of them, and I want to talk to you guys about what is planned for Delta Force Hawk Ops. And I'm gonna look at it a little bit more from the extraction mode because that's where I've been having the most fun. So a lot of questions that I hear in my streams and stuff is, how long is the alpha running on PC? They want to run it into the first week of September. So I'm hoping for at least another 3 weeks, maybe a little bit longer. And I am to the point where I'm gonna miss it when it's gone. I'm definitely gonna miss it whenever they take it offline. They talked about the new map, new operator, and content that's being added to the alpha. And people asked where the servers were. We found out that the test servers are in the US side, EU, and Singapore, but they're going to have more whenever they go to launch, to full launch. The big question, one of the big questions for me, this being no secret, it's a 10-cent game, where are microtransactions going to land, right? The campaign being a paid mode, that's one way they'll be able to make some money. Microtransactions in an extraction shooter, we know that Arena Breakout Infinite launched kind of under that same umbrella, that's publisher of, you know, under the 10-cent umbrella. So what are microtransactions going to be like in this game? They said no pay to win at all. It sounds like there are going to be cosmetics, which we will talk about in just a little bit, but they said no pay to win and no microtransactions in the campaign mode. So the campaign mode is going to stay true to the story, true to the setting, and be all about the story there, it sounds like, which is good. But I have to take the no pay to win with a grain of salt. As you guys know, in Arena Breakout Infinite, you can buy in-game currency, and I've kind of been having this internal dialogue with myself with what is pay to win in an extraction shooter. Is being able to purchase in-game currency and buying good gear pay to win? On the surface, yeah, it kind of is, and I don't really like it at all, that's for dang sure, but it's also kind of pay to lose. I've also thought about that. Woodvreen, one of my community members on chat, was expressing his opinion, and it kind of is almost pay to lose, because you buy in-game currency to buy gear, you're eventually going to die and lose that gear. So you're actually paying for real money for a digital item that you're eventually going to lose. So it's kind of silly. I don't really like it, but I still think, you know, when they say no pay to win, I doubt that being able to buy in-game currency with real money is off the table, but we will see. They said balance is really important. They need feedback to help balance the game correctly. So to keep providing feedback to them on the Reddit, on Discord, and on Twitter. Why did they include operators? That's a big question. That's one of the things in the game that I would put in the negative side. That's something I could do without, but they haven't been overwhelming in the Havoc mode, or excuse me, in the, they change all the names all the time. I'm really sorry. The Tactical Turmoil mode, or the Hazard Ops mode, the Extraction mode, they haven't been that overwhelming in there. You don't run across a ton of people. They have cooldowns on them, and they kind of also have some downsides. So they said that the operators have been added to enhance strategic options during play and not for the sole purpose of selling skins. Having said that, we may add cosmetic items for popular operators, but no skins that are out of character or spoil the integrity of the game. And when I was watching this, Shadow did say, he went on to say, we like Nicki Minaj, but you will never see her in the game. So that has fingers crossed that all of the cosmetics and things are going to stay kind of true to the vibe of the game. This game is set in the future, so you can get a little silly with it, but, you know, having, you know, artists, hip-hop artists and crazy stuff like that, Teletubbies like COD has, is a little off the rails in my opinion. So if we could keep the cosmetics like looking really cool and even a little bit futuristic but staying with the theme of the game, I think that would be right in the pocket, and I would have no problem with those kinds of microtransactions if you want to support the game. There are no current plans. I was a little bummed about this. There are no current plans for Hazard Ops. The extraction mode is not going to get proximity chat. I think that would be comedy gold for some content. It'd be pretty funny to be able to talk smack to the players that you're fighting with. But they do want to include it in Havoc Warfare, and I don't understand why you would have proximity chat in Havoc Warfare in the Battlefield type mode where there's a lot of stuff going on. I think that would just get spammed. It makes more sense to be the opposite for me, honestly, because in Hazard Operations, you know, it's going to be like 3v3 a squad, you know, and you can talk to people, you can reason with them and say, hey, I have a loot piece that I need. Can I trade you something if you'll let me go? Like basically like Tarkov, where you can, you know, kind of talk your way out of situations. Sometimes there's always those jerks out there that'll betray you. There's just a lot more layers that would be proximity chat for Hazard Ops. Whereas in Havoc Warfare and multiplayer, I think it's just going to be garbled up, you know, 32, you know, 64 players on the map screaming at each other. And I don't see what you're going to accomplish with that. So I wish it was opposite, but that's where they're at. Regarding the in-game chat, we are eager to receive more feedback on its current implementation to determine what players want. I think they were asked in regards to, can we disable the in-game world chat? Because it is, you know, when you give people on internet's a forum to type, they type crap and it's a literal cesspool, and I don't really want it on my screen a lot of the times. The ability to customize weapons mid-match will be added to Havoc Warfare in the future. So the Battlefield mode will be getting in-game customization of weapons. Not sure if that's like a T system or whatever, but it sounds like they're going to be getting that. Anti-cheat, always a huge question, especially in a free-to-play game. We want to move the game's processing server side to combat cheaters. We're also aiming to block cheat software from other sources, and we hope the community will continue to report cheaters. So they want to add some stuff to help people encourage reporting of cheaters. They have a whole entire website, and it's even, you can even find it within the game, dedicated to anti-cheat. And I think there's also some feedback when players that you report get banned and stuff like that. So I know they're really working on anti-cheat, same with Arena Breakout Infinite. And switching the game's processing to server side means they can monitor some things and find, you know, malicious content on there. For those of you enjoying the Havoc Warfare mode, it sounds like fighter jets are on the way. And then another big question talking about player bots. This is another one of the negatives with the games that they have addressed. The number of bots will be reduced as we continue to bring more people in the alpha playtest. I'm not sure if they're talking about Havoc Warfare or even Hazard Ops, but I would really like to see the amount, especially in Hazard Ops, the bots get declined. There's 100% bots with like real person type names, and it's not clear that they're bots, and that's a little bit of a bummer. You know, sometimes you see a player, you get into a fight, you kill them, and you kind of look at their loot and their name and how they were acting, and you realize it was a bot, is a little bit of a bummer. I think it's not the best. It's a little bit shady just to promote or to put players forward and not tell you they're bots and kind of make you think that they're players. Solo and duo queues might be added but are not confirmed yet, so I think that would be really cool for solo and duo players to have different queues. Time to kill an armor will be monitored and adjusted based on player data and feedback, so hopefully they're collecting a lot of data as well as feedback, because sometimes the gunfights feel really good in Hazard Ops, and sometimes the armor, and I'll get, you know, smoked by green ammo and it doesn't make a lot of sense. However, for an alpha is weird. I feel like it's more of a beta you get from all the complete features in the game, but it feels pretty good. But there are some netcode issues and things like that hopefully they'll be worked on. Now, as we know, this game is going to be on console. This game is going to have crossplay. That's one of the reasons why I think the game is actually going to be massive. I think it's going to be a really, really big time game with console players and PC players being able to play the extraction mode. That is like a more in-depth DMZ. I think it's going to be a really big time game. When you have that, you raise the inherent questions, right? Aim assist, controller support, like how's that going to work? They went on to say that there will be no aim assist for mouse and keyboard players for PC. For how crossplay is supported, players can expect something along the lines of similar titles, while we will keep listening to the community's feedback. So that sounds like no aim assist for mouse and some form of aim assist for controllers to compete. That's what I get from that, and that's kind of what I would expect. The black sight, this is really cool, will change based on how you upgrade it, they hope, in the future, and they want the black sight to reflect your identity and playstyle. So it'd be really cool to have your black sight, especially when the game is fully launched, to where you can upgrade it and kind of make it your own and design it. Maybe there's some cosmetic things and some cool things that you can kind of make your black sight or your hideout feel like it's yours. They were asked about crafting times, and it sounds like those will be adjusted based on feedback. Some of them are really long, some of them are kind of short, so hopefully they can fine tune those. I don't think that is a big deal at all. And they are aware of a current camera position bug, which allows players to avoid head damage, and they're investigating that and actively working on it. But I think those are the main topics of what they talked about. There's also another AMA, so if you're interested in that, I might make a video if there's any new or updated information about that goes live later today. So I might have another video tomorrow about this. But those are all the things that the lead design developer is talking about right now, what they're looking like moving forward. And I really think this game has quite a bright future ahead of it. As long as they do microtransactions correctly, I think it will have a really large player base. And just having a fully fleshed out extraction mode with a bunch of different maps. There are a ton of different battle passes, quest lines, you know, upgrades to be made. There's super high tier exciting loot. Last night, one of my squad mates, Ham, he pulled a laptop worth $1.5 million out of a tackle box on the side of the river on the Laoli Grove map, and it was just like, we got to get out of here. And like having those tense moments, we even fought a squad at the extract knowing that he has that laptop. We tried to hold him off while he got out with the 1.5 million laptop, and it was just, I'm having so much fun with this game. The raids are crazy. There's so much gear to loot, to look for, to trade, and to craft, and all that stuff. It's so feature complete, and with those details, some of the details about how the specialists interact, as well as the gun range. You can move the characters on the gun range. You can look at different drop off. You can adjust weapons and try everything in the firing range, as well as having live real-time feedback of weapon stats, and just how everything works in the game is really cool. And it is just like a DMZ, like when you're in it and playing it, but there's way more depth to it, and it's really its own thing. And I think the extraction mode really fits in a pocket. It fits in a really good pocket of arcadey versus in-depth and hardcore stuff. It's like really nice. You can just play the game. You don't have to have a second monitor with the wiki to look up how much things cost. It's all in the screen right there, and you can just play the game, have fun, take place in these really crazy gunfights. And that's one of my favorite parts about extraction shooters, are the depth of the gunfights and the positioning and the flanks and things you can do. Because if you think about a battle royale, you have a circle that's closing in, and you have to run and fight and move because of the circle. In games that I love, like Rainbow Six Siege or Search and Destroy, you have a timer countdown that make you have to move. In an extraction shooter, it's a sandbox, and if you want to take out this other team, you can do anything. You can push them. You can send one person to flank and kind of throw off the scent and come around the other side. You can use smokes to move, and there's no time limit. It comes down to patience and tactics. And like, you know, you think, well, they're located close to this extract, I'm going to swing around and try to get a high spot and see if they move this way. There's just, every gunfight's different, and that's what I'm really loving about extraction games right now, and this one in particular, because it seems to be the most feature complete. Anyway, guys, I'm rambling. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching the end of this video. The support on the channel lately has been a blessing to my family, and I cannot thank you enough. I really want to cover this game moving forward. I think it's going to have a large community with it, and I'm really enjoying it. So if you're interested in it too, let me know down in the comments, and I really do hope to see you on the next one.